Hey everyone, Matt here. Today I want to show you my fantasy talk workflow for WAN 2.1 inside Comfy. And then I want to show you how I extracted and enhanced audio in CapCut. And then also we'll go through how to use this whole workflow that I've set up on Mimic PC. I'm not a sponsor, but it's pretty interesting if you don't have the hardware to try running this offline in a really quick and easy way. So let's go. This video is assuming that you already have WAN working locally. The only thing you're going to need besides the workflow is the fantasy talking model from the Teacache space on Hugging Face. All right, before we get into my workflow, I like to really aim for quality first and then speed and then try to find a middle ground. So I'm going to go through all of that in a minute. Let me just share with you some examples. Here's from Tropic Thunder.
It's high science, man. It's art form.
Like lip sync soft.
You an artist. Is that
okay? And we have another one I'll show you from Tropic Thunder.
Is that working with Mercury? It's high science, man. It's art form. Yeah.
Not sure why his head is tilted like that. It wasn't in the prompts. Now you'll see that that worked really well. The same settings for a crop on a face compared to the same scene, the original scene.
Is that working with Mercury? It's high science, man. It's art form. Yeah. You an artist.
You see how Ben Stiller's head is not moving at all. The camera moves just a little bit. And so this seems to be a problem. It's just as if you were working on hands or faces from far away. I think that it needs to take up a certain portion of the screen in order to really have that accuracy. Now let's go into the lip sync version that works the best with this Blade Runner example.
Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion.
That's about as good as I can get it with still some rain and some real strong expressions.
Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion.
Now you see I isolated the audio in this case so that you wouldn't interfere because there's rain typically and music in the background. And so then I would go back and sync it up. So I'll show you how to do that in CapCut. But again, most of the times you want this level.
Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion.
I mean, that has the most dramatic and incredible expressions and the rain and everything dripping down. That's this one here. Now I'll show you this example from The Matrix worked pretty well.
I must get out of here. I must get free.
Yeah, it's still not pronunciating a lot of the mouth movement. And I'm not sure, that could be just a simple limitation of the tech. Because I think when Fantasy Talking 2 comes out, we're going to really see a lot more expression that matches the lips.
I must get out of here. I must get free.
Now, depending on your case, I think that's probably pretty sufficient, especially when you combine it with additional clips. This is one I had a lot of fun with. This is Will Ferrell from Zoolander.
Are you not aware that I get farty and bloated with a foamy latte?
I mean, his facial...
Are you not aware that I get farty and bloated with a foamy latte?
You can see again...
Are you not aware that I get farty...
When he does it, I can't get this person on the left to move at all.
And bloated with a foamy latte? Are you not?
And the lip syncing is still a little bit off. I mean, it's just a wild expression. Now, the quality of the hair and the fidelity and the whole image is just awesome.
Are you not aware that I get
the dog
farty
particularly
and
looks,
bloated
I
with
think,
a
looks
foamy
pretty
latte?
good, and especially in all these
Are you
examples.
not aware that...
So, I think that one particularly looks good. You can see I've got a whole bunch here we could go through. I ran I don't know how many tests over in a few days. Some just trying to get the combination of real crisp visuals, body movement, and full facial expression. And I'll explain the trick to getting the emotion correct is really challenging. It comes down to the describing and trying to recognize the emotions that you're trying to your actor to convey. And then this last one, I added in injured. So I have emotional, injured, bitter man talking in the heavy rain. And I thought maybe that really fits this sort of monologue the actor is delivering in this final scene of the original Blade Runner, which is great. It's called Tears and Rain, if you want to look it up. And so we have this additional thing with head movement. Bad teeth actually helps a lot because a lot of times they come in too clean and too fake looking. And then I put in some additional descriptions to sort of convey the overall mood and feeling of this, which you normally don't have to do at all in especially the World War II stuff I was doing before. It didn't matter to have some of that fluffy stuff. It was more literal. But in this case, I'm trying to get the actor in this scene to convey accurate emotions to the speech. I'm also referencing the actual video. So there's the examples. We'll go through and you can try to fine tune, find that balance. Especially for, I think my workflow is really great for quality that's consistent, and then the speed. The first thing you'll notice is that I'm only using 22 steps, and some other guys out there like to keep it up around 30 and 28. I haven't noticed a huge improvement. So you can use 22 to 24, and in real quick tests, you can go down as low as 18. I thought Tcache was causing some of my problems with the lip syncing. And I did one just side by side, turned it off, and it had absolutely no improvement by removing it, other than slowing it down. So for Tcache, you want to use values between 0.150 and 0.2. And for starting steps, you can do 2 to 10. After 10, I haven't noticed any improvement. All of this is typical, no big deal. You don't have to change anything here. Now, this is probably the most confusing, and there is with the original a start and end step node, which I removed because I found it had no noticeable value having a start and end step that were different. And I'd love, if anybody knows exactly how to get the most out of it, that'd be great. But I was trying very dramatic. But in all of these cases that I found, if I wanted, you can see there's some errors here completely. And that was
Are you not aware that I get
see the
farty and
quality
bloated
you
with a
can't
foamy
maybe can't see
latte?
on this little video here, but there is some degraded. I found that this was really degraded, and that was coming from these high CFG values on my audio CFG scale. So this, even when you hover over top of it, it says 1. So that actually works really well. You can go up to 2 and 3 and just play around with it, see what kind of results you get. Changing this between 1 and 1.6 also helped with some of the lip syncing. All right, what's more important than all the other settings is getting the right frame total for your audio clip. And we're going to do that by looking at our frame per second count right here, which is 28 frames per second, which is a lot. And that's because you want all of those details in the mouth movement. And so you can go try doing 26, but I'm using 28 right now because, again, I was really aiming to get this lip syncing match. So the frame count here should match your frame output. So that's simple enough. But we're going to look at the math quickly and just say that we have a 5-second audio clip and we're doing 28 frames per second. So 28 times 5 is 140. And I put a simple little note here so you can do the quick math, and it's right above our total frame count. I did a little padding and added 4 frames to whatever my math was, just to ensure that it doesn't seem to change the syncing at all, but it just happened to have the thing not cut off right at 5 seconds, and so it just would trail off just a little bit. And so that's where this is key, and you can see that this floater goes to 2 encode and embed nodes. Since we're here, let's come down to talk about the noise augment strength. And that actually is a quite important value if you have a really static shot. So if you just have somebody standing there and you want to have some additional movement, especially some camera movement, you're going to increase this to 0.15. Now, the default 0.15 that I've made in my workflow works really well for most of those examples that I've shown you. In this case, because there's already some kinetic movement with the rain and the dripping off of this man's face, I can go down to 0.09 and I was getting some good results. And so this is almost the more static and motionless your start image appears, the higher this has to be. So the resolution, there's a little hack here that I have where you put it at 32 or 16 instead of the default 2. And that will take all of these weird aspect ratios that, because I'm taking screen captures from these clips, so that there's not AI generated, so they're really, as you can see, really off, non-divisible clips. So if I had just had 2, then one of these numbers wouldn't match up. So 32 kind of solves this problem, because if I go down to the default 2 and hit enter, the chances are I'll probably just get an error pop back up. Yeah, you can see when I have the divisible by 2, I was getting this error all the time. So the simple trick for that is to just go up to 16, 32, or 64, and that'll still round out these images and just give it a slight little crop and push it down into the divisible amounts that the PyTorch can handle. We're not going to go over the models in too much detail since I already made a video called WAN Too Much Detail, More Than You Need to Know, or something like that. You can find that on my channel. There's the most important node here is the block swap, and that takes some of this model and offloads it to your CPU, and instead of having it all loaded onto your VRAM. So you can see that when I'm trying to do this 1K nearly 720p 5-second video clip with 144 frames on a 4090, I'm using 34 block swaps. And so what you can do is you could start it at 40 and then stop the generation and then lower it to see the VRAM. I'm simply using, I don't have a monitor which I should plug in, but I like seeing the actual gigabytes here. 22 is what I kind of aim for out of my 24. And then if you use the Mimic setup that I have, then use the block swaps on there as well to get the and then just try to get the VRAM up to, I think it's about 92% is good, 85 to 92. So that's where the higher the number, the more it offloads to your CPU RAM. And the block swap at 20, I think, is around the default. So that it all depends on your resolution and your frame count. Okay, so you have to adjust that, and you want to maximize, of course, your VRAM, because that will speed up your rendering. All right, I don't know if anybody needs this or wants this, but if you want to extract audio from a video, it's really easy to do it right here, and then you can separate the music from it. We go right and we say extract audio, and then from here, which is really cool, is that you can say isolate voice, and you can say keep vocals, and it does a little processing. Yeah, that's the pro version. That's what I use to edit the videos when I'm done after I record them. It's pretty good for just stitching things together because it doesn't use up a lot of VRAM. So you can have, I can kind of work on, I can generate something and be working on CapCut at the same time. Not that I like to support a Chinese company, but what are you going to do? So yeah, this is pretty cool. Then it's
A world without rules and controls, without borders.
so the audio comes in pretty clean, and then you can also enhance it right here. I believe there's an enhancement something. If you had a clip that you were stringing together, you can slice it like this. Take 2 slices. Here's the trick to just extracting these components. You go to range, select by clip, and then export. And so that's how you would take a little small section out. But again, most people are probably generating this stuff from AI anyway, so you don't really need this. But I just thought I would include that because that was part of my workflow. So I'm using Mimic PC recently. They're not sponsoring me at all. I'm not getting paid for this. I just really thought it was cool. You can see I threw a couple bucks into the account here, testing it out, and I, by accident, started my last machine that I had running. You can use other people's workflows. I have mine pending, and maybe you'll be able to just search this up, and you can load the images, and it almost just works exactly like your desktop. It's pretty impressive. Much easier to use than RunPod or Vast or something like that. Maybe there's other ones that you can recommend in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. But this one's pretty good. The hardware is not the best. Yeah, I really wanted to get the Comfy workflow on here, even though I've got the 4090. It's because I wanted to use one of the high-end machines to try to do a 15-second clip of that Blade Runner. And here you go. Ready? 15 seconds, 720p.
I've seen things.
Terrible.
you
What a
people
disaster.
wouldn't-
So that's, and then I extended it. It took 2 hours. And so I ran
I've
another one, and it's
seen
15
things
seconds.
You people wouldn't believe. The shoulder of Orion.
Very disappointing. So I just threw away, I think it was maybe $6 or something that I threw away on that. But we'll go through. I have it running. You can see here, look at this. It's just, this is my last workflow. It just pops up. Have the machine running. This is what I was saying before with the VRAM. You want to get that at 90%. If you're using these 2 machines, then you can use the Torch Compile. And this is what I was trying, the L40. They're they're okay. These things aren't blazing fast, but they do have tons of VRAM. But you can render, this is a little bit slower than 4090, but it works really great if you have the bargain, especially for the bargain. 49 cents an hour is pretty amazing. So you can run anything a 4090 can using this model and popping up a workflow. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. So maybe they'll see my video and give me some free credits. All right. Anyways, I think that's it, guys. Please, I would like to get monetized one day with this channel. That would be really cool. I don't have enough hours yet. The subscribers coming along. Thank you for subscribing. But I need the watch hours. So if you want to go back into my catalog and have a look at anything, that would be great. I need 4,000 hours before I can start getting any money from this YouTube channel. So I appreciate the support, guys. You can check out my social media links. Hit me up there anywhere. I don't use Discord, but feel free to reach out to me on any of those contacts below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace.